What's up, everyone? Back for another non-alcoholic beer review. And the beer I'm reviewing today comes from the Athletic Brewing Company. And they're out of both Stratford, Connecticut and San Diego, California. And this is their Oktoberfest. And this is the 2022 release. So they are calling this one a non-alcoholic Festbier-style Oktoberfest. It comes in at less than 0.5% alcohol by volume, 20 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just under 5 weeks old. So this is the third non-alcoholic beer review I'm doing on my channel. First one was a hazy IPA, really solid. Second one was a pastry stout, even better. This one, Oktoberfest. And I'm curious about this one because it comes from the Athletic Brewing Company, and I've heard nothing but good things about their beers. So I'm really excited to give this one a go. I love that they have the little deets over here. So for a 12-ounce can, 12 fluid ounce can, 70 calories, 16 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of protein, and 2 grams of fat. Ingredients: water, organic Vienna malt, malted barley, wheat, hops, and yeast. And yeah, so I believe this is a Festbier-style Oktoberfest as opposed to a Märzen or Marzen-style Oktoberfest. We will see when it pours out because you can usually tell right from the color, like, hey, that's a Märzen or that's a Festbier. So we'll see. Not positive. And also, this is only my third. Yeah, that's 100% Festbier based on the color. So this is only my third Oktoberfest beer. And again, what I'm trying to figure out here is what drinks like an actual beer and what doesn't, right? So that's kind of what you're going for. We're not going to pour all this in because it has a big head and I'm not trying to get crazy over here. So go like this. I don't want this to get all over the place. We'll put this down over here like that. So yeah, that is 100% a Festbier-style Oktoberfest. It has that, golden straw color, albeit a bit darker, but nowhere close to Märzen. Here's the one thing I'm noticing right off the get-go. Most Oktoberfest beers, if brewed correctly, they typically don't have any haziness to them. This is not. This is hazy. So again, it's not alcoholic beer. This does not have the clarity you kind of expect, especially from a fest beer. But it does have the proper color. The head is about a 2-finger, soap sudsy, bright white looking head. So does it look like an Oktoberfest? Not exactly. That haze is a little bit too much. And it's not even chill haze. This isn't too cold. There's a little bit condensation. But yeah, I mean, maybe it is. Yeah, I had a little bit of clarity now as I kind of wipe the condensation out. But it's not as clear as like your typical fest beer. Anyway, let's get a nose. Okay, that smells nice, actually. Aroma-wise, that smells really nice. It has a nice, like, grainy, like, kind of slightly toasted malt scent, like a breadiness, almost a biscuity-esque kind of feel to it. The actual hop character, though, is slightly floral and, like, spicy, touch herbaceous. Like, yeah, it smells really good. I've been getting some honey lately in these Oktoberfest beers. Not getting that here, but nose-wise, this smells like an Oktoberfest beer and more of a fest beer style. Yeah, I think the hops are actually balancing out with the malt quite nicely. All right, I don't want to smell anymore. I want to get into it, so I want to see if this tastes like an Oktoberfest beer. We'll see. Prost, everybody. Hey, what do you say? Listen, I can tell it's not. I take it back. This is the first of the three that I can say without question, it resembles a beer, okay? I couldn't tell you this is non-alcoholic. I don't think if I was doing it blind because it definitely has a lager feeling to it. Going back for another sip, but the first two, I was like, the body instantly indicated this is watery, it's thin, this is not a beer, right? That's not the case here. The body's a little bit bigger than I anticipated. So the body is slightly watery, but this is like higher side of light, lower side of medium. There's a little bit more heft going on than the first two I had. The thing about this one is, though, I'm not really getting like any kind of substantial super, like, in those first two is like there's an off flavor here that's kind of letting me know, hey, this maybe isn't what you're accustomed to as far as like an alcoholic beer goes. I'm not getting that here. However, does it drink exactly like an Oktoberfest, especially a Festbier style? Not exactly, but it does have some redeeming qualities that scream lager and screams beer. And I appreciate this one. So we'll go body and mouthfeel real quick, and then we'll jump into the tasting notes. Yeah, body's like, we'll say higher side of light, a bit watery. Kind of expect it. Less than 0.5%. It's higher. at least from the three I've had. Like I feel like the bodies are always going to be an issue. The mouthfeel, it's crisp. It's relatively clean, maybe a little bit, maybe not super clean, but it's clean enough. It's really refreshing, thirst quenching. The taste. The problem with this one, if you compare it to a real fest beer, is that it just doesn't have that robust depth of like malt character that I'm accustomed to. I get this very generic, grainy, malted barley type of thing. That's like, okay, you're a beer of some sort, right? But this could be mistaken as maybe a Pilsner. Maybe it's mistaken as like an American lager. At the end of the day, I'm looking for that like a rich kind of malty character that you get from a fest beer or a Märzen, and it's not really delivering on that. But this is not bad. It just doesn't, to me, drink exactly like an Oktoberfest. All right, so you get that grainy malted barley thing, maybe a little bit of like a bready sensation, passes through the palate. So there's a very slight, we'll say nondescript, like earthy floral thing. And that's, again, the hops probably hitting. Back of the palate, this does finish just quite dry. Really just a slight bitterness, but quite dry. I just think, here's the thing, to sum it up. So just click off on the video right after I say this because you're just going to hear me ramble. I think the lack of the depth of the malts and the malt character is what's kind of hurting this one from saying, hey, that's a Festbier-style Oktoberfest. I think that's the key thing, and that's a substantial part of a fest beer or a Märzen. We're talking about the Oktoberfest style, at least in my opinion. So this isn't a bad beer. That's not a beer. But it's also stylistically not exactly what I was hoping for. But that's fine. I'm going to drink the rest of that. It tastes good. So personal preference, I can't really go too low on this because I always rate the personal. But stylistically, this is like a 3 out of 5. I'll just be honest. This is a 3 out of 5. If this was labeled as like an American lager or like even like just let's say they're like, oh, this is an American Pilsner or something, I'd be like, okay, I could see that to some extent, right? I just think the lack of the robust, in-depth, rich malt character kind of is leaving me wanting more for this style. But personal preference, I'm going to give it a little bit higher. So I'm going to give the Oktoberfest, the 2022 release from the Athletic Brewing. I will go, I don't know where I want to go with this. We'll go low 3.5. We'll go 3.45. I think that's the best I can do on this one. Again, I just think I want a little bit more in general from a beer. The first two non-alcoholic beers kind of surprised me. It was a hazy IPA that kind of drank like one. The second one was a pastry stout that kind of hit the notes outside of the watery body. This doesn't exactly get to what I want from a Festbier-style Oktoberfest, and it has a slightly watery body, although a little bit bigger than the first two. That said, I still want to try more from Athletic. I know they do a bunch of different styles, and I can't wait to try more from them. So, price point availability, I think these were like $12 a 6-pack where I bought them. So I think I paid like $2 something, a little bit over $2 for that can. That's fine. And the availability, I have no idea with Athletic. They obviously are in Stratford, Connecticut, San Diego, California. As far as non-alcoholic beers, they probably get all over the place. And I know you can order them online, I believe, from their website, depending on the state you live. So if you want some Athletic stuff, go check it out. Now, here's the fun part. What do you think about this beer? What have you had from Athletic? And what would you recommend from the brewery? Because this is my first, beer from them, and it's a little bit of a disappointment, honestly. But I know they do brew good non-alcoholic beer because I've heard a lot of people like sing their praises. So I'll be curious to know anyone out there. If you watch this, throw in the comment section, give me some recommendations. Have you had this one before? Did you enjoy it? Again, this is technically the fourth Oktoberfest beer I've had this year. This is the first non-alcoholic and the last that I'll have this year. But after having one fest beer and a couple of Märzens and then drinking this, it's like I can definitely 100% tell the difference between this being a non-alcoholic and that not. And again, I don't think it hit the flavor notes that I'm looking for. Maybe it's different for you. Maybe some people out there love this one. But at the end of the day, got to be honest. And it's a 3.45. Not a horrible score, just not my favorite. So anyway, oh yeah, can't taste the alcohol either. I always do that. Oh, you feel the alcohol? It's less than 0.5%. If I can feel alcohol in here, something's wrong. So I apologize, probably a longer review, but I've stated this in the first two. These are going to be longer because I don't know much about non-alcoholic beers, and it's going to take me a little bit longer to finger. little longer to figure out what I'm tasting and try to break it down properly because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But you watch the channel, you know this. Anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for it. It's like I've drank like 7,000 of these because I'm getting hammered, right? Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol, albeit a non-alcoholic beer. Until the next one, bros.